Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Laura Learns channel. Today I am preparing for a cards and cocktails class that I am hosting next week. I am going to be serving some cocktails or mocktails, and people are going to be able to make two different cards when they're here, and so I need to make a couple of sample cards, and I thought I might as well show my border maker system. And it comes with these two pieces, and right now if you purchase it, you get this fence set with it, but for this class, people are going to get to choose whichever one they want. Underneath the border maker system is this gray bar, which we need to pull out as our first step so that we know how far our paper needs to go in order to access the cartridge that we're going to be using to make sure that it's at the proper thickness. So what I'm going to do at first is take one of my designer pieces of paper. I'm going to open up this blue bar that's on the top. I'm going to line up my paper so that it fits perfectly in this gray little casing and close that blue lid. And then I'm just going to tuck this under because I don't need it now. Now my paper knows how wide it has to be in order to work with my cartridge. So I am going to try the citrus one, I think. So I'm taking the citrus cartridge and I'm just popping it in place. Now on here, you can maybe see there are these little ridges here. Each of these ridges corresponds to some teeth marks that are underneath, and that's what we're tracking with the teeth that are in the front of this cartridge here. And so sometimes it seems like we've hooked in, but we really haven't yet. And so we want our paper to go into this hole that's here. And you want to hear it really get into that tooth hole and press. And then where the next one is, this little white line on the mark should line up with this little blue line on this mark, and you should really feel your teeth embedded. You pull it out, you drag it down, you line those two marks up again. You pull it out just a bit, drag it down, line up those two marks, pull it out a bit, over a bit, out, over. And that is my first beautiful punch line. Now, because I want to do repeated, I want to do multiple of these in different patterns as well. So I've got another pattern on the back of this page, so I'm going to do another one. I'm going to take my guide on the back out. I'm going to line this piece of paper up, put the blue holder in place, put my gray ruler back. I'm going to keep the same cartridge in, line it up. For those of you who have wrist issues, you may have to stand up or use two hands. It's not too bad with the patterned paper, but with cardstock it can definitely be a pretty heavy push that is required. Okay, and you can clean this all out. Now, what I'm hoping on my card is that I'll be able to put two of these side by side like this, or I can offset them if I choose. But I need to do a few more different ones, I think, to get a bit more contrast. So okay, now that I have cut these out, I have to decide how I want to layer them. Do I want a full citrus punch on top of the full piece of paper here, or do I want it actually overlapping the punch? And how many of these am I going to want layered on top of each other before I like what I have? And so what I need to do is decide where I want to cut this off. So I'm going to be using my paper cutter, and I'm going to cut about like that for now. Then I'm going to be able to use this again in my border maker punch. Now this is called Laura Learns because I'm learning. I'm not very good at measuring. I'm not very good at following instructions. I just like doing it and seeing if it works, because one of the things I always taught my students is that you learn best by failing. Ooh, and I cut that one crooked. How did I do that? I must not. Okay, I've chosen 4 different base colors here so that I can test my oranges and yellows out and see what I think. My idea is to layer a number of these against each other until I find a combination that I deem worthy enough to put on my card. And obviously these would need to get cut shorter and be glued on, but I don't need to do that yet. And that's the same color, so I don't want that. These are double-sided, so I have to be checking both sides to see which one I like. Okay. So this is what I've got going on here so far. I mean, I'm not in love with it, but I could do it going across this way as well. Or I think what I want to try is actually leaving a space in between them. If I move this right up to the top, will I get another one in there? I think I will. Okay, I like that much better. All solid oranges, and then I could put a sentiment right in the center of it. Or I can use all the same. I could put a block of color under one of them. I could make half of this white and put a background strip underneath. Nope. So you have to have enough of a contrast in order for this to look proper. Okay, so now I gotta play with this a little bit and see which of these I like the best. Okay, I've done some playing. And I've got this card where I put a white strip underneath, and then I just used the double-sided paper. I made one piece a little bit darker than the others. I think you can lay the card this way or this way, and then we're gonna put a sentiment on there. This one I just put across the top, but I layered 4 of them on top of each other very tightly. I'm not sure if I love this, to be honest, and now I need quite a lot to fill this, so I need to find something else, but it does give you, you know, something quite different at the top, which people may like if they like a little busier. This one I laid the other direction, and I had layered 2 of them on top of each other, but not as tightly, and then did 2 on top and 2 on the bottom. I quite like this. Again, I could do it either way. And then I'll put my sentiment in here. And this one is probably my favorite, most simple, just 3 of them. Can go either way again. With the sentiment, I could put a ribbon across it if I want to. Sometimes simplest is best. I think that's super cute. You can tell what it is. Yeah. Step 1 of repeating borders.